When I was young, my friends and I would tell each other ghost stories, but I never really believed in anything that we said. They were just little stories that we made up. As I grew up, I'd hear about experiences that people had had, things they couldn't explain any other way, but I never really believed in any of it. So I wondered if seeing really is believing. I went to my friends and asked if they would mind sharing some of their experiences and stories.
One night driving home from Oscar's nightclub at Longley, I had my friends next to me and heading through Horsley Heath. We saw this figure walking along the side of the road. She turned to me and said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "I think so." So we turned round, went back, and she was gone. It was sort of an outline of an old woman. In the few minutes it took us to get back there was nowhere she could have gone apart from in the hedge. There was no gateways, no pathways.
We lived in an old house. It was converted, and it was just me and my brothers living in it, and my dad. And basically the story was that someone had hung themselves on the beams. We didn't know if it was true or not. But then one night I woke up and it was like someone was running across the landing. Dad thought nothing of it, but a little while later he heard kind of the same going on upstairs, that there was some sort of strange voice, and me and my brothers were all in bed, so we didn't really know what was going on. And he went upstairs and there was just the bathroom light and it was swinging, and that's never really happened before. There was no drafts, the window wasn't open, it was just really odd. Later that night I kind of woke up in a night terror, and I just saw this dark black figure standing right in front of me, and I screamed for my dad, and when he came in, he turned the light on and there was just nothing there. I mean, how do you explain that?
Hearing my friends' stories made me almost jealous that I'd never seen anything myself. Two friends who I know through work investigate paranormal things all the time, so I asked them if they'd mind if I came along with them on an investigation one night. We spent a while trying to find somewhere that would let me film. A friend of mine had been in an investigation with them before. Her dad was a documentations assistant at the Royal Signals Museum on Blandford Camp. They'd gone there and seen loads of different things. So one evening we went up there.
I just came back from the investigation with Suzanne and Casey. So we started out, went into the cafe, which is where before they had some lights come up, they had some voices. We didn't get a lot, really. We didn't get very much at all. We were there for a while, recording the whole time and didn't get a lot. We moved on to this long corridor, and Pete was getting loads and loads of orbs on his camera, and his tiny little infrared camera, and I got nothing on mine. Nothing came through. I couldn't see anything, and I was kind of at this point thinking, oh shit, like what happens if I don't get anything? Like what am I going to do? And then Tim says,
if we can get into the cellar. Would you like to go into the cellar if I could?
yeah. Oh my god, I would love to. And before he opens the cellar, Pete whistles down this corridor and does it a few times and says, "Can you whistle back?"
Where's the talking from? Can you talk again, please?
And I hear what to me sounded like a high-pitched whistle.
What was that?
Was that a whistle?
But Katie and Suzanne turn around and say,
It sounded like a door opening.
Yeah, that sounds like a door opening.
she and I run down, try and see if we can find anything.
What's that? Was that big?
Oh, that fucking mannequin. And there's an alarm going off.
Is that an alarm? Is someone in here?
Hello?
Let's go and talk to him. That sounds like you.
We're the only people in the museum, locked the door behind us. That's kind of
Hello?
weird. Hello? That's definitely an alarm.
I feel like someone's in here. If that door's open, gone.
Oh my god, if that door's open, I'm gonna cry. I say, oh shit, it'll be because Tim's gone into the cellar. He's like, the alarm set off.
Unless it's because they've gone down to that bottom bit.
Maybe. It's the alarm.
Someone going to turn up.
I should go tell Tim. I guess he's the one on call, isn't he?
Yeah.
And there's a CCTV camera right next to this alarm panel. Or is it just still images?
I don't know.
I glance at it and I'm sure out of the corner of my eye I see something.
Oh, something popped up.
Oh my god, I thought
What? Do you think you saw something?
I'm gonna have to watch it now. Like it's on a loop in it. It will come back. Then we see just in the corner of the frame, shadow kind of forms, and then slinks into nothing. In like, say there's a cabinet, it's like a person.
Yeah, it's live. What was that?
What was that?
Well, let's go up and see if they're up there quickly. If they're not up there, they're not.
What the fuck?
That didn't look like any of them.
That was a person. There was a person on that video.
That didn't look like any of them.
So we run back and we say,
There's an alarm going off. Downstairs.
at the front desk.
Might be to do with
This
the
like
door
beeping
then.
says alarm in progress.
Would it be to do with the door?
So I play back the footage and we all watch together around the camera. We look at the top to see where the CCTV camera is in relation to the corridor, to try and see if there could be any possibility that we just caught one of ourselves. But Pete and Tim were at the other end of the corridor, and Suzanne was by the lights, which would have gone off.
Anyway, then we cycle down into the cellar, don't really find anything there. We get back to the stairs where we started, and Dan and Pete are there, and they've turned on their radio again. And they say we've had loads of voices come through.
You having a party?
I hope so. What was that, dear?
What was that, dear?
And there's bits of it that just sort of almost seem too perfect. Like, can you tell us your name? And then clear as you like.
Give us your name, please.
The music is a creepy.
Richard.
Richard, was that Richard?
It's strange that you can ask a direct question and it's not like you're just like, what was that? Like, oh, making something out of the music that's happening. It's, what was your name? Richard. And there's a lot coming through, and they're all saying, you know, we've never had this much. Anyway, then we go around and we're sort of like, let's see if we can get any more around the bottom of the museum. So we kind of started at the top, worked our way down, go around, and it sort of drops off a little bit. We don't get much response at all. We're asking questions, it's not saying a lot.
Yourself to the people that work here, or to visitors.
At the end of this experience, I don't know how I feel. On the one hand, you can say, I've seen a ghost, I've seen a spirit, I've seen something on that CCTV. I'm sure a part of it just comes from that mob mentality, sitting together with a group of people wanting to see what they see. But there's just that little part of me who thinks, what else could it have been? If it hasn't made me a firm believer, it's made me question what I first thought. And that's more than I ever expected would happen.